King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. Ball is life, and that's a fact. And a baller's life, about that exact. King and Yates, they bridging the gap. From the US to Dubai, put pins on the map. There's a time to score and a time to assist. Ain't no I in team, let the winning commence. From generation to generation, game don't stop. The new and old school got the game on lock. It's all legendary, it's all necessary. We all been all-stars before February. And after that, King and Yates, after racks. But really trying to get some wins, not just padding stats. Two basketball lovers through happenstance. Built a bond that led to greatness that advanced.
BTG Nation. What's up, man? We're back here. What's episode 13? I think we're on 13. It's either 13 or 14, one of those things. We moving right along, though. It's a little different time of the day. You know, we got a little bit more energy right now, too. It's midday. Coach can't say it's 3 a.m. in the morning. But we are here. And let me tell you guys, all right, everybody that knows what we're doing in Dubai, Hoop Mountain, Dubai, it's been a long 14 days. It's been a long 14 days. Like I know it might sound like an exaggeration, but the last 14 days have been 12, 13, 14-hour days in the gym with kids, scheduling with other academies, just doing stuff. Like, as Coach loves to say, the work that people don't see or they don't like to glorify. Man, and so the pod has been a little stagnant with that, but we're back. We finally got our win. How you feeling, big dog? Yeah.
I know it's midday, and I know you're saying I can't complain it's 3 a.m. in the morning, but, man, it's a beautiful day outside, and this is like our only day off, man. We need to be enjoying this, but we still working. This is work.
Yeah. It's a lot easier than with
therapeutic work,
yeah,
but it's work.
Because consistency, right?
Yeah.
That's that one thing. That's the beauty of the lessons basketball teach you. Because how many times have you woken up and gone to the gym and worked on your game when you ain't really feel like doing it?
Yeah, too many times that I can count.
Yeah, but eventually that thing always paid off. And you've done it for years, right? And so just naturally you just know, even though you wake up sometimes you don't want to do something, you know, like, man, I gotta go. Because at the end of the road, it's gonna be worth it. But in those processes,
I don't know, man. I'm almost 50 years old. I'm almost at the end of my road.
Man, you know, it's different. You know, life expectancy is different. Age is different. Energy is different. We're here too. I think we just added 10 more years to your life coming to Dubai.
Listen, man, what my mental capacity can hold it's short, man. Like my patience level, man.
Yeah. Your patience level is definitely short. And I do see that with every group of generation gets to the next stage of their life. You know, you see now like Shaq. Shaq and Chuck is like the perfect example of on air of like they sick of something, they gonna say it.
Yeah.
Right? And that's what y'all generation is now. It's like, look, we've been around long enough. I'm tired of it. And just what you gonna do to me now?
Right. Yeah.
What you gonna do now? Right. But BTG Nation, here we are. You know, we're live and direct from Dubai. Hoop Mountain Dubai, Hoop Mountain DXB. That's our project. It's growing. It's doing beautiful things. We just had a great Hoop Star shootout. So shout out to everybody who came and played well. Shout out to our younger ones, our beginner 5 through 7 year olds. They're starting to show up, and man, it's beautiful to watch the growth from the first time they play in like a group setting with team and how they're so scared and nervous and can't do anything. And then the very next one, they're all over the place.
Yeah, the aggressiveness definitely grows each time they play. Being able to see somebody go from not being able to make a left-handed layup to make a left-hand layup and you know, rejoice in their progress. I mean that's incredible, man. That's the thing that keeps you going right there.
For sure. And the joy, you can see it on a kid's face. You can see them light up when they start to like understand, like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when they start to see you can be aggressive in everything in basketball. You can have all those things. It's fun. And shout out to the parents of those kids at the younger ages, because those kids are dealing with a lot of emotions, new things. Basketball comes with a whole different set of rules and regulations. So their kids are learning how to manage emotions. And as much as we say some parents have to step out of the way, we got to acknowledge some of those parents who are watching and seeing the early benefits, and they're not allowing their kid to quit because it's uncomfortable.
Right.
Right. We got to shout out to them because now they're seeing the fruits of that labor. But here we go. It's been a wild time in basketball. We're getting closer and closer to March. And so when it gets March, springtime for college hoopers, this is when the school year goes by even faster because the basketball season is almost over. It's playoff time. You know, people start thinking about March Madness, but also you start to get some awkward news at times. And so last week I saw a headline about a New Mexico State coach. New Mexico State's first year men's basketball coach. I believe his name is Greg Heyer.
Yeah,
maybe Greg Heyer. He was actually fired this past week, and this comes after the team's basketball season was canceled. Like the remainder of the season was canceled. They forfeited everything, and that was a move made by the athletic director. Now, for me, I haven't paid much attention to college basketball news before, but how often does that happen to where an athletic director cancels a season mid-season at a D1 school?
I mean, it's extremely rare. I mean, you're talking about once in 50 years that something like this would happen because there's just too much revenue involved. And for someone to do this, that means, you know, there's a lot at stake in terms of liability and the integrity of the school. And, you know, someone's trying to get ahead of some major implications that may come out down the road.
Yeah, well.
Some crazy stuff that we already know about, but think about the things that we don't know about.
Man. Now, we talk about having a turbulent year. Now, these guys here in New Mexico State, earlier in the year, maybe early February, late January, there was an incident with a player on the team involving a gun. They said that he was, their starting power forward was lured to campus by 4 other students, 2 girls, 2 guys, and he was eventually shot by somebody on campus in like a residence hall, and he had a gun on him too. Chi-Town guy, he had a gun on him too, and he ended up firing back and killed the guy. Police say it was self-defense, obvious reasons, but I mean, immediately when you have weapons, violence, death, anything involved with the basketball player, anybody as an athlete at Division I school, you are high profile.
No. Any division.
Yeah.
You're talking about a basketball player.
True.
On campus.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what division, Division I, Division II, Division III, NAIA.
Yeah.
It's still going to be headliners.
Yeah. And so that's one incident.
Right.
And then you roll around to another one. There are hazing things here. And so there are allegations of false imprisonment, sexual battery, sexual assault, and just overall assaults amongst players on the team and hazing. And you know, for those who are not familiar with American colleges or U.S. universities, there are fraternities, and there are different practices that occur as initiations for those things. And over the years, as everything else has grown and become more informed, and we're starting to realize the issues that come, and more cameras. That's the biggest reason.
Right.
More cameras. There's, over the last decade, there's been a movement to make sure hazing is removed from frats and just anything altogether. And so here we have another allegation of one player who was harassed and hazed multiple times by teammates. And it comes out that there might be another player who's also having the same issues with their team. And so, man, here we go.
Yeah, like I said, if you think about it, there's one player that we know about now, and they said there may be another player, that's coming out soon. Think about previous players that have been there. So we have no idea, even before this coach got there, what type of environment this has been at New Mexico State. And, of course, we don't condone hazing, but we know that it happens as an initiation. But for it to happen multiple times, then that means there's just, no institutional control there.
Listen,
So that, ultimately, that comes back on the coach and coaching staff.
Absolutely. So the campus police report, right? It says that the players involved, they didn't say their names. They won't add those, but there are 3 members of the team held down one player, removed his clothes, exposing his buttocks, and began to slap him. And then they also said that they touched his scrotum. And then on top of that, they said that this incident occurred several times since last July or August, including more inappropriate physical and sexual touching by the teammates in the locker room and on road trips. Just those descriptions, that just starts to get you a little off, right? And this is a first-year coach. Now, this is another thing that I say is he inherited it, a lot of those guys.
Right.
You're a first-year coach. Probably about 3 or 4 years until you get your guys in there. And so you're coming up, and these are the guys that are already there. That's the culture that's already established. And, a lot of things you don't know. Because if you get there in the summer, what's the first thing you got to do? You got to get on the road and recruit.
Right.
It's a lot of things that's just going to pop up throughout the year that you're going to start to realize. But, going forward now, some false imprisonment, King. Like this just some stuff like you locking people up in rooms or something. Right, and this is and then more evidence came off the shooting, right? To where the gun and multiple pieces of evidence may have been
tampered with, right?
By coaches and staffers.
Yeah. Well, I think I got a glimpse of the article, and some of the article mentioned that the coach advised the player to leave campus for a minute until things cool down, even though he knew that investigators were trying to communicate with the kid.
Yeah.
So right then and there, like, coach being fired may not be his most his biggest problem right now.
Yeah.
He may have some other incidents that he needs to account for, because you can't advise somebody to lay low for a minute. That sounds like a mob boss.
Man.
You know what I'm saying? Just get out of New York for a minute. Lay low.
We're going to send you to Arizona. Right. And then when we look at that, right, because he came from junior college, right?
Yep.
And, man, we've talked about that hustle before, that struggle before. For him to finally land a head coaching job.
Yep. Big time job, too. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, I'm always pro coach, but not in, these incidents like this. Like, what can I say?
You're right.
I can't defend it.
Right. Right. It's just so unfortunate because we've talked about this before, right, King? When you become a coach and your livelihood is based on the temperament and decision making of 18 to 25-year-olds now. Ooh, that's a big gamble.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, that's a big gamble. And so when parents see you in the gym and they see, how discipline is the first thing that's implemented in kids, period. And if you don't want to comply, you gotta go. This is why.
Yep.
This is why. Like, what type of money do you go from making when you go from JUCO to D1?
I saw somewhere in his they were talking about some of his contract structure, that his base salary is $300,000. So you look at his overall package is probably around $600,000 a year. Because he's radio, television.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to do promotional appearances and stuff like that. His endorsements. So let's just say his salary probably tripled or quadrupled leaving junior college.
Like that.
Yeah, with the opportunity to move up,
Mm-hmm.
At New Mexico State. You have 2 or 3 good seasons there, then next thing you know, you're at
Missouri or something like that.
Yeah.
Now, with that being said, your money goes from 15,000 dirhams to 75,000 dirhams a month.
Right.
All you got, but what it's based on is performance, right? And it's not just play too, because sometimes I think you can look at some schools where a coach hasn't necessarily, maybe they haven't won a title in the conference in a while. Maybe they're once every 3 years they get a tournament appearance, but their job is never in question.
Right.
But that's because it's things off the court that his program is doing. Right. What kind of things are those?
Well, one, a lot of times your some of your bonuses are tied to academics and how the kids perform in the classroom, and definitely the integrity and character of the program. You know, how do you represent the school? How do your players represent that institution when they're not playing? And so, you know, people take that into consideration. You know, are your kids getting better in their 4 years with you? Because like you mentioned, some of the guys who don't have stellar seasons year after year, but they keep their job, it's because the administration knows that they're doing a good job, you know, with the players that they have. And that's all they're concerned with, because, you know, unfortunately, a lot of schools now have become, you know, athletic performance driven, but, you know, the sole responsibility of, you know, universities is supposed to be academic.
Absolutely.
First, you know.
Absolutely.
But, you know, so some people look at it like, you know, what is the coach doing overall, and let's judge him by that, and not just by wins and losses.
Man, so when you look at that, and now you're thinking about it, like we were just yelling at our kids yesterday about commitment, right, consistency, and then also like starting to retain information.
Yeah.
But that's expected.
Right.
Those are the battles that you expect to fight. You prepare to fight. You got a contingency plan for all of those. You got a new way to shake things up to get them together. But I got to deal with hazing. I got to deal with somebody walking around campus with a strap.
Right.
Like I got to deal with sexual assault rumors. I got to deal with this. I got to deal with that. And whatever happens is going to be on me.
Right.
Even though I'm not with these kids, I'm with my family at night. Woo.
Yeah. That's why it's so important, based on who you hire as your staff. Because you're supposed to have a certain amount of grad assistants that you trust, that are responsible. You know, your second, third coach. Hey man, unfortunately, that's part of their job, keeping a pulse on the campus and what the guys are doing outside of practice. You know, I just think back to times when I played in college. You know, we did some crazy stuff, of course.
Yeah.
But most of the time, there was somebody on staff always keeping a watchful eye on us.
Yeah.
And then I also was fortunate to play for some head coaches that, you know, were always engaged with us as well. So, you know, this sometimes stuff like this is where coaches get so caught up in being CEOs and kind of remove themselves from the lower tier responsibilities, and it comes back to bite them.
Man, that's dangerous right there, right? And so, man, that's probably one of the worst basketball programs like in history now. Just one of the worst years for a basketball program in history,
sure.
in D1 history, and it's wild that it's happened now, but man, unfortunate. And then you look at guys out there that deserve college jobs, you know, and so
Ivan Thomas,
man, first on that list, and so that's just something interesting to look at. But before we get into our NBA update, because it is NBA All-Star Weekend, it is NBA. Well, I don't know what else is going to happen. It's dunk contest time. It's 3-point contest. It's all that good stuff. The trade deadline was crazy. And so we'll get into that. That's what mainly the episode will be about today. But I got I saw a quote on Twitter. Twitter, with this new upgrade with Elon Musk, you get like a 4,000 character limit on what you can write on stuff if you get a certain profile, whatever. I'm not doing that. But a reporter shared a quote from Steve Kerr about AAU basketball. And you and I had just talked about a quote that I had seen from Kendall Marshall's dad about coaching your child's team, or, you know, whether it's AAU or high school, and how that can be a hindrance. But I think this talks about the overall issue with the game and how it's affecting the growth for later. And so Steve Kerr says, even if today's players are incredibly gifted, they grow up in a basketball environment that can only be called counterproductive. AAU basketball has replaced high school ball as the dominant form of development in the teen years. I coached my son's AAU team for 3 years. It's a genuinely weird subculture. Like everywhere else, you have good coaches and bad coaches, or strong programs and weak ones. But what troubled me was how much winning is devalued in the AAU structure. All right, before I get to the second half of that, because there's a lot everywhere, right? Just that part alone. So AAU is Amateur Athletic Union, for all those here in Dubai or on this side of the world that aren't familiar. And what we have in America is organized sports, like a complete national organized sports entity from ages of what? I mean, 7 to 18?
Yeah, I'd say 7.
Like 7 and under the 18. And you can compete nationally with the best teams around the world, around the country, in basketball. And then they also have it for football, soccer, and everything. And so I guess we can speak to how AAU was for you growing up too. Because AAU was still prevalent for me going into my 11th grade year in high school. That's when the shoe company started to take over and divide stuff. But AAU was still heavy for me most of my growing up.
Yeah, well, the shoe company's been in there for a while anyway. That's just how it goes, because they're gonna anything involving high level sports, they want to tap into it. That's just the bottom line, and they want to be. Everybody wants to say I'm first. But AAU when I was coming up was strictly about development and exposure. And so everybody wants to be in front of all the college coaches as much as possible, but there weren't many coaches that would just have guys come together and not have some sort of structure, some sort of discipline, and teach some fundamentals of the game. And like there are today, there were some coaches who did the opposite of that and just got a collection of talent and said, "Hey, let's go play." But now it's just running rampant, man, where guys just, don't even see the kids during the year, don't even have any contact with them during the year, don't know how they're doing academically, how they're doing in the community, how they're doing at home in terms of their just how their behavior is going. And they just get these guys and give them all the shoes and gear that they want just to, entice them to come play and have them show up and just get together and play.
Yeah.
And see what happens. And, like Steve Kerr mentioned about, devaluing it, the concept of winning and losing the games the right way. Yeah, guys will go play 6 games now in one day, and they could care less if they went 0-6, as long as they had 20 each game.
Man, and I can remember the first time I found out about AAU and what that tryout was like. Right. I don't know if they have that same energy no more, to where a team holds tryouts and everybody has to go through the first, second cuts, and you got to go against, shirts versus skins. Yeah. You're going through the skills drills, then you play, they putting out some concepts in there. Like, I remember, because this is how it happened, right? This is how organic the game was then. I was just tall. My mom wouldn't let me play rec league because I was getting in trouble in school and I wasn't doing, my work was always good, but I was getting in trouble because I would be bored after I finished work, right? And so she wouldn't let me play rec league. Rec league is a great local thing that allows everybody to play. Everybody gets minutes and all those good things, but she wouldn't let me play. So I was always outside playing, or if I was in a rec, I was playing in an in-house rec league in a summer camp. And so there was always a couple local guys who cared about the kids. And there were some people starting some teams. And so they would go around to all the recs in Alexandria, see who could play a little bit, and be like, hey, we got tryouts coming, handing out the flyers, right? Come out for a tryout. You don't have to pay for the tryout. Right. They're doing that these days, making people pay $20 to try out, right? And so we go on a tryout, and I'm looking, yo, what is this? This is dope, right? Never played nothing really organized before, just on the street playing. And I go to my mom, and my mom was like, shit, I can't drive there, but a couple of my friends were going to the tryout too, so we all get in the car together. And originally, my boy was the one who was excited about the tryout, but he was a little shorter than me. So everybody, I'm tall, so they gotta get his big ass in the gym. So we go to the gym. It was in the OTC called the Barn. It's the OTC. They had something called the Barn. It was downstairs. It was gray. It was hot. No AC. Like you got to open the door out there for to come in. And it's like 60 of us trying out. All of us playing. You don't know who's doing what. Coaches mixing you up, playing around. You don't know who's getting picked. And then at the end of the weekend, coach sent a message to your mom. It's like, yo, we want him to play. But that was different. You know what I'm saying? It was organic. It was just hoop. And then everybody who didn't make that team, they ended up going to play for another team. But you stayed with that team the entire summer.
Right.
And most likely you stay with that team for the next 2-3 years. That's why we ended up winning states in TC. Because what most people don't know is that I was on a younger age team. Trav, Man, and everybody was in the same program on a higher age. Glenn and those guys on the same program on a higher age. And so everybody from G, everybody who we were playing with each other since we were like 12. Mm. Playing with each other, watching each other go to Florida, go to different places, and all playing together since we were like 11, 12, and all of us knew. And everybody from Alexandria that was like the first time it was getting together, and we was mixing up players. And it was regional, just like the music. It was regional. Like the Virginia guys played a certain way, the Memphis guys played a certain way, DC, Maryland, like everything, North Carolina, New York. And so AAU was a different space then too. But I remember just immediately the tryouts, the feel, like outside, like fell in love.
You said there's 60 guys trying out, but like the guys who didn't make your team wouldn't play for other teams. Not everybody played on a team though.
Yeah.
AAU was a little more selective then. Now, there's a team for everybody now.
Yeah. And matter of fact, it was in second division. It was called YBOA. Mm-hmm. YBOA was the other tier of, at a certain age, all of us played AAU and YBOA. But when we got to like 13 or 14, there was a distinction of here's the AAU crew and here's the YBOA crew because it's a different talent. It was almost like D1, D2 type thing, right? And so everybody had a chance to play. But one was more of a space that was like, you ain't ready for that speed yet. Because AAU, it was more national. Like you got to win, you got regionals, you got all that type of stuff to where they section it all so you can make it to the national stage, right? And so that was like exciting to see. But we practiced like 3-4 times a week.
Yeah, it was serious, yeah. And you had to be there.
Yeah, we had to be there practicing.
Yeah.
And so the second part of what Steve Kerr said, these days teams play game after game after game, sometimes winning or losing 4 times in one day. Very rarely do teams ever hold a practice. Some programs fly in top players from out of state for a single weekend to join their team. Certain players play for one team in the morning and another one in the afternoon. If mom and dad aren't happy with their son's playing time, they switch club teams and stick them on a different one the following week. The process of growing as a team basketball player, learning how to become part of a whole, how to fit into something bigger than oneself becomes completely lost within the AAU fabric. And then I add to that, now people are putting more weight on AAU than high school. So some people don't even care about what their high school seasons are like because they feel like they're not going to get recruited from that.
Right. I mean, it's wrong, in my opinion, but they do have a point in that if you think about how short the recruiting season is for the college coaches to get out and actually see the talent, so it makes AAU more valuable because now coaches can go and see everybody in one spot and make the most of their time, and be a little more efficient. So it's part, NCAA, parents, grassroots coaches, and players. We all play a part in this in terms of, accepting some of the blame because it's not just one entity that runs everything. It's a combination of everybody wanting to be a little bit, how can I say, some people being proactive, some being a little greedy, some being a little selfish. So honestly, I don't see anything changing in the near future unless something comes down from the NCAA.
Yeah, I mean, and it's hard to. I think now is at the point to where it has to evolve into something else, right? To where we have to build on what's already there because you can't completely change, like you said, because shit, it's too deep. Billions. It's too deep there.
Yeah.
And so it gotta evolve into a new thing. Like it gotta go to a next level of business pretty much. Because I just heard there's a black guy who runs the Nike EYBL league.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I gotta find it one day. But I heard him talking about it and he was like, look, I'm basically Adam Silver. Like, because each team is represented by an NBA player. That's who conducts this stuff. And so I got to make sure that rules are together, that people aren't switching teams in the middle of the year, that there's a practice schedule going, that there is some development happening consistently. Like all the teams that are supposed to be playing are playing when they're supposed to be, with the scouts here, the money is getting distributed properly, all of those different things. And so with that being said, we got to make sure people don't get left out too. Like, do you remember your AAU days? Like once you hear us talking about it a little bit, do you remember those days, man? Like that's some of the purest.
Yeah, I mean, more so than the playing, I remember the times we spent staying in hotels or staying at coach's house,
team dinners,
or us driving in vans to different places to play. Yeah. I remember all that stuff, man. That those are times that are gonna be etched in my brain forever.
Man, forever. But that's where you start the love, right? Like most people that know me from the crib, they remember that when I first started playing, like maybe my first year or two, I was playing on a team called Virginia Pride, and we were really, really good. But I didn't get much playing time. Not because I couldn't hoop, but shit, I was just getting on to the scene, learning how to play. And as soon as I started playing King, we was throwing the fire. We was going to Texas because our owner was like, Rich, we was going to Texas, we was going to Kentucky, we was going to Ohio, we was going everywhere, Florida, we was going to New York. I remember going to a game and playing, and I think we might have been like in the Bronx at a rec center, and they shooting outside. And I'm just eyes wide open. And this is a different era because our coach is betting on the games. You know how that goes. We 12, 11, they betting on the games. And so now that I look back, I'm like, yo, why are they so wild? Like, you better stack on some 12-year-olds. So that's why we had to play against some 15-year-olds or 12 and under, right? But the game was different. But I rode the bench. I was on a pine. Like, I sat on the bench, cried about it when I went home, like upset, just didn't know what to do. Mom was like, you ain't going nowhere, you better figure it out. But that helped me the rest of my time. Right. Because we get to TC, right? And this is just for people that know the story. I wasn't in the plans initially for the plan on the varsity team. I missed out from freshman year doing something crazy, but I had to find a way into the rotation. But I was taught early that in basketball, there's always a way. You just got to focus on finding it. Right. And so that shit right there, man. Like I miss that for people because that's how those stories develop about those underdogs that become big dogs now. Mm-hmm. That perseverance and resilience that's built.
Yeah, listen, man. If everything is given to you, there is no story.
Come on, come on, man. That's a bar.
There's no ups and downs, no persevering through it, it was just given to you.
It's just vibes. Yeah, it's just vibes. Yeah. And so I hope to see that, especially as we try to build something within the GCC and work on some things to grow because, man, that stuff is so important and it's vital for basketball. Once people get to see that and get communities involved, it's changed. There's no competition, right? Before we get into this NBA deadline, trade deadline, and all-star stuff, Abu Dhabi and Qatar just said that they are looking to purchase NBA teams.
Really? Oh, wow. Wow.
And this is a couple months back. I forget who it was. It might be Darko Milicic. Somebody Spain player who played in the NBA as well, who said that, I would love to see the Euro League in Dubai. I'm just saying, by the time we hear about any speculations or rumors, it's already been months in the works.
Oh, for sure.
And so, when the Abu Dhabi games happened with the NBA, we knew what time it was.
Yeah.
But let's talk, because my wife was asking me, so does that mean, are they going to bring a team here? I was like, nah, Qatar owns half of England.
Right.
And what football, Ellie, what football team do the Qataris own? Is it Liverpool? Do a fact check for me and see which team that they own. They own one of the top football clubs, as they say, in all of the EuroLeague stuff. And so whatever that the Premier League or whatever. And so if Qatar or Abu Dhabi or both of them get a hand, they're targeting?
No.
All right. They're targeting the Knicks.
To come.
They want to purchase the Knicks.
Oh, wow. MSG would be crazy then.
Wow. What would that look like for us here?
Wow. Definitely expose some people that aren't teaching basketball the right way. I take that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How about it, man? How about it? But without further ado, let's get into the shit. NBA trade deadline, okay? It's comprehensive. It's a lot. There's a lot going on. It's a lot. And so let's start top to bottom, man. I got the laptop going. All right. So the biggest one, Durantula. The Suns land Durant and 14 deal. Suns receive Kevin Durant and TJ Warren. And TJ Warren is a sleeper for that bench. And he already was originally a Sun before too.
Really?
So, yeah. And so he was a part of that early young core with Aiden and Devin Booker. And then he went to Indiana. That's when he started torching people. And the Nets received Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Juan Pablo Valette. He's a money guy to make sure the deal adds up. And then 4 first-round picks, 5 first-round picks, and 2 second-round picks. All right. And then also in this trade, the Bucks received Jay Crowder. The Pacers received George Hill, Serge Ibaka, Jordan Nwora, and 3 future second-round picks and some cash from Brooklyn. Woo!
Everybody got better in that trade, though.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yeah. The Bucks got Jay Crowder. They needed that.
That's big time for them.
Yeah.
Suns, let's just say it. Title or bust.
Yeah.
That's just bottom line.
Yeah.
Because they went to the finals without KD.
Mm-hmm.
So they got him now.
Man. And I love this for Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson because there's a chance for them to expand that game. And Mikal Bridges just put up 45 the other night. And so you're going, and they're young. So there's some good young pieces there in Brooklyn. And they need a complete haul of just change everything anyway. But KD with that Suns roster, and I'm sitting here thinking, how do you guard? Like, we asked these questions about all those big super teams that come together. But this one's different because you got CP3, who he's top 3 in steals in the league history, and then he's top 4 or whatever, 3 in assists all time. And he has, I think, I heard Gilbert mention this, he has the best assist to turnover rate in like history. So that means he always makes sure you get a good shot, right?
Right.
But then you got KD anyway, like one of the most efficient players ever. Devin Booker, mid-range assassin. KD also is technically the greatest mid-range player ever, right? Like what, basketball-wise, as a coach, you're Monty Williams, King. What we doing?
Ooh,
what we doing?
The question is, what can't we do? Like I said, sometimes you have you can have too many options at your disposal.
Yeah,
he's got too many.
Yeah,
because you didn't even mention Ayton.
Exactly.
Because
and I was gonna get there because he's the one. Yeah. He's the difference maker. He's the one who decides what happens.
Man, whew.
So let me read you their. Let me give you their roster first. All right, Torrey Craig, who is he's a vet. He's like 6'7", 6'8". Defensive presence, strong defensive presence, right? He was with the Nuggets before. Can hit the three, crash the boards, but a really strong wing defender. D-Book, Josh Okogie, who has been playing really great with the injuries. Like he put up 30 the other night against like the Bucks or something. Great pickup, right? And he's young, wing as well. Chris Paul, Damian Lee, he came from Western. He's shooting like 41 from the tray. We got what's this guy's name? Jock Landale. He's a big. He got good hands, can catch, can finish. You got Ish Wainwright, big guy again. You got Landry Shamet, another guy who can score off the ball. TJ Warren, Cameron Payne, Biyombo Bismack, DeAndre Ayton, KD. And then Darius Baisley, who's a young guy, is like 6'8", long arms too. But then in the buyout market, they picked up Terrence Ross.
Yeah, that was big.
Big.
That's big. He's going to be a good role player for them.
Man, you talking about vet. Yeah. And then you got KD. Like, that team there, people going to say their bench is not enough. I think their bench is pretty damn good.
Yeah, their bench is pretty good.
Bench is pretty good. And so, as you said, championship or nothing.
Yeah. They don't make it to the finals. It's been a bad year.
Yeah. So what about the Bucks though? So what do you look at when you see the Bucks now? Because they added Jay Crowder.
Hey, listen, man. They just added more toughness. They lost a lot when what's my guy's name that went to the Heat after
PJ.
Yeah, he's replacing him now.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's
and younger and more skilled to an extent because PJ was just catch and shoot corner, great at it, but not too much. Yeah. He ain't driving to the bucket for nothing.
Yeah, Crowder's a little more skilled.
Yeah,
but definitely that's what they were missing, man. When they won the championship, they should have never let him walk just because you always got to try to run it back.
Mm-hmm.
When you got somebody as young as Giannis and let them see what they can do, man. But
yeah,
they they just did it. They just replaced him. So
crazy.
And KD, think about it, KD and Kyrie leaving the East. So the Bucks are the favorites again.
Yeah. Well, let's get into it, right? The next trade, not as large, but it was a good move. The Clippers picked up Mason Plumlee and traded Reggie Jackson and a second round pick for 2028, right? And so Reggie Jackson is expected to be bought out and then going to the Nuggets. Yeah. And then the Clippers add Plumlee too, which gives them good size behind Zubac.
Good size and hustle.
Yeah.
High IQ too.
Yeah.
He knows his role.
And he can pass as a big too. The 76ers, they picked up Jalen McDaniels. And now McDaniels and his brother are two of the most promising young wings defensively. And so his brother is in Minnesota. His nickname is Seatbelt.
Damn.
Yeah. Jalen McDaniels has the same type of length and can score as well. And then the Hornets pick up speed. But the biggest part of this is a 4-team trade between the Hornets, Sixers, Blazers, and Knicks. The Trailblazers receive Cam Reddish, Matisse Thybulle, Ryan Archidicano, I think he played at Villanova, and then a first-round pick from New York. And then the Knicks receive Josh Hart.
Archidicano.
Yeah, Diacono.
Yeah, so Portland just upgraded their roster, finally.
Big time. With Cam Reddish and Matisse Thybulle.
Yeah, finally.
And then the Knicks picked up Josh Hart. And I think that's a good pickup for them too. Because you don't really hear much about them having a guy as gritty as he'll be on the wing. He'll get in there, rebound hard. He do all that extra stuff. Defends greatly. It gives you those deflections, and he can still score in transition. He can trade ball. Professional.
Yeah, he's a Tibbs guy. He's that type of player, and that reunites him with Brunson.
Yep. And then the Clippers made a big move. The Rockets got rid of Eric Gordon, so Eric Gordon went to the Clippers.
That was big,
huge, scary. John Wall, Danny Green to the Rockets. And then
wasn't John Wall just talking about
how terrible
his
it was?
Time in Houston was terrible.
Yeah, but they're going to buy him and Danny Green out. So both of them are going to be on the buyout market. And I got a list for the buyout market too.
Okay.
And then the Grizzlies picked up Luke Kennard.
That's big for them.
Yeah.
They needed some more length.
And he can score.
Yeah.
He can score, right? Now, the Celtics acquired Mike Muscala from the Thunder and then traded Justin Jackson. Now, Muscala I just watched the Lakers. If you watched when we lost to the Thunder, shout out to LeBron for breaking the record that game. Did you see the big white guy that was knocking down the threes?
Mm-hmm.
That's him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Torching us. He just went to Celtics. Celtics, quiet moves. These are little trades right here that are playoff-ready trades. Right. That's a 6'9", 6'10", pick and pop who still rebounds, and he shoots it at a high level too, right? And so the Pelicans, they traded Josh Richardson. They traded for Josh Richardson and sent Devontae Graham and 4 second-round picks to the Spurs. Mm-hmm. All right? The Pistons, this is a big one. Pistons and the Warriors. And so in the Pistons, Warriors, and Hawks, Sadiq Bey went to the Hawks. Gary Payton in second, and 3 second-round picks went to the Warriors. So GP2 is back with the Warriors. And the Warriors sent James Wiseman to the Pistons. And then Kevin Knox is sent to the Trailblazers with 5 second-round picks.
I still can't believe they got rid of Wiseman.
But listen, though, King, there was a hold on the trade because GP2 didn't pass the physical.
Right. And
that's because the Trailblazers didn't disclose his injury as his ab or whatever. He may be out 2 more months. They went through the investigation, and the Warriors said, fuck it. I still rather have him than James Wiseman. So what's going on here?
So that means there's something going on internally.
Yeah.
Because Wiseman can play. He's a talent. But if you're not meshing with, the culture, and what the coaches want of you, then it's a problem. You got to go.
Big time.
And I got to ride with the team that's been winning championships.
Man. Now, let's get to the next big trade, okay? Well, I'm going to go with the small ones for a second. The earlier one that we talked about, Lakers getting Rui Hachimura and sending Kendrick Nunn. That was a big one for us. The Heat trade Deadman to the Spurs for some cash. The Kings, they added a shooter, but they ain't too big. But the Raptors, and everybody was really big on the Raptors because they wanted to see where OG would be, Gary Trent Jr. They wanted to see about Fred VanVleet, some Spicy P. And so Masari didn't trade anybody. He traded for the big man from the Spurs, who a lot of teams wanted. And he said that he found out just how high value his players are. And he's like, yeah, y'all gonna have to come back at the end of the season. Gangster move, right? But let's get on the one right here. Lakers trade Westbrook to the Jazz in 3-team deal. Lakers receive D'Angelo Russell, Malik Beasley, Jared Vanderbilt. Timberwolves receive Mike Conley, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, and then a second-round pick from us, and then 2 second-round picks from the Jazz. The Jazz receive Juan Toscano-Anderson, Damian Jones, a first-round pick, and Russell Westbrook. That is for you, Rob Pelinka. That is from me to you, Rob Pelinka.
Yeah. Okay. We gotta give him his props. He did do a good job. He waited 2 years.
I mean, I think you had to because it's Russ. Because you if you step your foot in that, you got to try to make it work because you signed him in the first place, right? Yeah. And so you can't go too quick. But we got him out of there. And then, again, we made another trade. And Thomas Bryant, as soon as we made the trade, Thomas Bryant complained about not getting enough minutes when AD came back. So we sent him to the Nuggets so he can play behind Joker. But then we picked up Mo Bamba and Devon Reed. And then we traded Patrick Beverly to the Mavericks. And then silently, the Clippers picked up Bones Highland. And if you're familiar with the pod, last year I talked about how Bones is one of those sleeper picks when he's coming out the draft. And he is an explosive offensive player, and he's young as hell. That's a big pickup for the Clippers. That's a big one there. And so we pick up, as a Lakers guy, we pick up Mo Bamba, Devon Reed, Rui Hachimura, Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt.
That's a whole new team.
Whole new team.
Whole new team.
And so next trade, Mavericks add all-star guard Kyrie Irving and Markieff Morris, and the Nets get Spencer Dinwiddie and Dorian Finney-Smith and some draft picks. Ooh, Ken. Talk to me about the NBA trade deadline, man.
This had to be one of the most dynamic years, of the NBA trade.
Ever.
Just because almost everybody made some type of power move. Everybody that's a contender, so to speak. And this is going to be exciting. This is going to be exciting. I almost wish we had like 40 more games left instead of 20 something.
Man,
because we need to see everybody have time together and gel a little bit and buy into what the philosophy is. But this is going to be interesting because there's a lot of teams. You listen to what you were saying about who the Lakers picked up. I could easily see them making the playoffs and making a deep run. They just got to get there.
Man. Well, and we'll talk more about this as the All-Star break ends because we'll get to see.
Yeah.
But how do you think the Mavericks? How do you think that duo works? And as Jason Kidd, right? We talk about how does it work for Luka? How does it work for J. Kidd? I'm not too concerned about Kyrie because Kyrie has played with superstars. He's played with the two greatest players in the generation, right? He played with KD, he played with LeBron, and he was always able to adjust, and he's still gonna get his numbers.
Yeah, I'm not so concerned about them two meshing together on offense. It's about what they're gonna do on defense, and then in clutch situations.
Mm-hmm.
You think about KD and playing with KD and playing with LeBron. The one thing those guys did do when in the moments. They strapped up,
yeah.
And Kyrie he'd strap up when needed, but Luka don't play no defense, none. It's not in his DNA, and he's more ball dominant than those two, because LeBron dominates the ball, but he's a willing passer.
Yeah, KD, KD. You just give him 10 shots,
but Luka's gotta get reps.
Yeah,
he doesn't get his reps up, he's ineffective. We haven't seen him be efficient yet.
Yeah,
and so. That could possibly be an issue with them, like who takes over at the end of games.
Yeah, and that'll be interesting. But I think that's the perfect part because everybody talks about European players and how great they are and how much better at basketball they are. They play a better brand of basketball.
Well, let me dead that right now. Nobody's saying that European players. They're saying some. They're naming this guy. They're naming Joker. They ain't naming everybody.
No. They making blanket statements like that. They making blanket statements because they talk about the European basketball is harder. They've been saying that.
Yeah, but that's a few people making claims about how the certain guys come over here and they're dominating the league.
Yeah.
If that were the case, then there'll be more Europeans in the NBA.
For sure.
So don't get it twisted.
Yeah. And so but this is the next phase of Luka's career because we've come on here and I heard it talk, I think Perkins or somebody mentioned it. We've come on here and talked about how Steph Curry gets picked on or has been getting picked on for years defensively.
Right.
But we can honestly say he may not be all defense, but he does make an effort. And it's different now. If you're going to have to work out. You can go and attack him again, but you're going to have to work for your bucket. He's going to be there and active defensively. Luka, that's the next phase that the NBA is going to test you at. It's like, all right, we're going to see. We're going to start putting you in these pick and rolls and seeing if you're going to slide those puppies at the end of the game or if we're going to be able to expose you to. And even more so now because you are 6'8". You big.
Yeah.
And so, it's not a small ball because you're huge out there. You got to make a bigger presence defensively. So,
right.
That's going to be fun. And for me, I love the D'Angelo Russell pickup. Because that changes the flow of the game. And now that makes our bench even stronger. Because now Schroeder goes to the bench. We got Austin Reeves on the bench. We got Mo Bamba on the bench. And then we got Troy Brown on the bench. And Troy Brown, he grew a lot in this year. Better three-point shooter, good defender, and Lonnie Walker.
Dang, every time you say Schroeder, I think about
Money.
Turned down $84 million.
84. But he still might get paid from somebody.
No.
Not 84.
No, it's over.
Not 84. But he still might get paid.
Nah.
Because he's still in his 20s.
Yeah,
he might
he ain't getting nothing close to 80.
They ain't getting close to 80, but he still might get paid. And so right now the Lakers are only 3.5 games out of the 6th seed.
What's the remaining schedule look like?
It says that we got the third easiest schedule. That's what they say. But when we get back, we got to play the Warriors, Timberwolves, Pelicans, all that back and forth.
And the Pelicans are still without Zion, right?
We actually just beat the Pelicans. We beat them.
What's wrong with them?
Dub. What's wrong with Zion?
Yeah.
Hamstring issue, they say. Yeah, he ain't going to be able to play more than 50 games a year. That's what I think. I think you reach it if you think it's any more than that. But hey, it is what it is. And so, man, basketball, that's it, right? But the buyout market, before we get on to All-Star break, the buyout market, you got Russ, John Wall, Reggie Jackson, who's already said he's committed to the Nuggets, Will Barton, sleeper, Terrence Ross, who's now with the Suns, Patrick Beverly, and Danny Green. And then I've also just been added Kevin Love. So you think about what can change the complexity of playoffs in this new year. Like,
and people may laugh at me when I say this, but if I had a chance to bring Patrick Beverly back to Lakers, I would. I'm not, because they need some dog. They need some dog. And he don't care if he plays 5 minutes or 20 minutes. He's a dog. He's a dog.
Where do you see also Nerlens Noel and Derrick Rose maybe, and Alex Len, they may also be. Nerlens Noel, man, you talk about
turned down $72 million.
Oh my goodness. But they also could be on that list as well. But who do you think could be the biggest impact player from the buyout market?
I'm not going with what Gilbert was saying in terms of Russ. I'm not going with that. Honestly speaking, I'd probably have to go with, like I said, I'm all about mentality. I'm going with Pat. Like I said, because like I said, Minnesota, look at the difference with, in them with Pat and without Pat.
Right.
Because he just brings a whole different dynamic to the team, man. He brings what we talk about the NBA doesn't have today, which is toughness. And that killer mentality. And that killer mentality, some people misperceive that as being like scoring 40 every night. Nah. Sometimes it's diving on the floor for loose balls. Sometimes it's trying, the running joke is that Patrick Bev is out there playing hard defense, but he might get burned for 30, right? But he makes you work for it. And that's something that guys don't do these days, And I'd rather have somebody out there like that who knows their role and they're hungry to win a championship than have somebody who I know is probably 4 times as talented, but they take nights off and stuff. He's a dude that he's thankful to be in the league and playing.
Let me tell you this though, King. Before shout out to the Pat Bev pod too, because I am entertained.
Of course.
But let me add this before you break down that they say Seth Curry is going to be bought out as well.
Oh, that's a different story. Hey, you ain't tell me that.
Nah, they say Seth may be bought out too.
Now, see, if I can get Seth,
yeah,
that's a different dynamic because he is a lesser version of Pat Bev on defense, but on offense, he's a whole nother level.
And he's still not a slouch on defense.
Whole nother level.
Lake Show, let's make a run for the money.
See, here's why I'm conflicted. I want LeBron to win another title because he just broke the record, right? But I want CP3 to get one.
This is what I would love. We need the NBA. When's the last time KD and LeBron have played against each other?
2000, was it 19?
Playoffs.
18, right?
1918. They haven't played in a game against each other since then.
A game? Wow.
So if we can get a healthy Sun, The healthy Lakers in the Western Conference Finals.
That'd be crazy.
Or and look, let's say top 4 teams. Let's say 1 versus 6, right? Because the Lakers will probably just get a 6 seed, maybe 7. Let's say we end up playing the Nuggets, and let's say the Clippers end up playing the Suns. And then either way, if we play the Clippers in the championship, the Western Conference Finals, or we play the Suns in the Western Conference Finals, that's gonna be crazy. That's gonna be crazy. I will say this. I would much rather, as a Laker fan, no matter what it looks like now, if we get Seth Curry, whoever we get, if we get another big, and we start to get a nice flow, I do not want LeBron to face KD going into the playoffs. As a Laker fan, right. As a guy who likes KD a little bit more than LeBron, that's going to be a great, because every time, if the weapons are matched up, and the sidekicks are matched up, and it's just KD, Bron. KD winning that just because he's more lethal as a scorer, and he's more active consistently defensively, right? And so, man, but that leaves the Western Conference with all the juggernauts, right?
Yeah.
But
the East is Milwaukee, man. Everybody's talking about the Sixers.
The Celtics are 42-17 or something like that.
Yeah, they are playing well.
They saying like, stop playing with us. They saying stop playing.
Like, yeah, but they got one looming cloud over the room, man.
I forgot all about that though. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's Tatum, man. Is he gonna show up? You know what I'm saying? He's talent wise, he's on a level like that of a KD in terms of what he can do. Yeah. But man, you got you just can't let.
They added some stuff to him though, so that way.
They added some stuff to the team. They added nothing to him.
Yeah, well, he's been killing it though. So we're gonna see. Man, I love it. So let's get to the All-Star Weekend. Let's get this All-Star Weekend predictions. All right. I think the 3-point contest is going to be most exciting, so we're gonna do that one last. Right. They got the skills challenge. I think the skills challenge is a little bit different now. You got teams. So there's Team Antetokounmpo. So Giannis, Giannis, and his other brother Alex.
His brothers are in it? Yep. They're in the skills contest.
Yep, with him. So
don't even say nothing else. I don't want to hear it.
You don't want to hear it at all, man. Look,
just make sure this segment of the podcast just black me out. I don't even want to hear it.
Hey, look, the team. There's a Team Jazz with Jordan Clarkson, Colin Sexton, and Kessler. And there's a rookie team of Paolo, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith. I don't know. Let me see this. Oh, here we go. Oh, this is gonna be great. This is the rule and formats, right? Round 1, team relay. Teams compete one at a time. All players from each team participate in a time relay. All right, each player must complete the course. 35-foot outlet pass at a moving target from the baseline. Complete the pass to move on. You got 3 attempts. Dribble down court through the moving pylons, right? It's the traditional one, shooting the lane. You got corner 3-point shots you got to make. All right, the next player starts when he either rebounds the player's shot or receives a play. So I guess all of them go through the relay together, right? The second round is team passing. So all 3 participate together. They each make a pass at an individual target, and then one player cannot make a consecutive pass. And then there's team shooting. All right. So it sounds like camp.
Yeah, that's Boot Mountain camp, right?
And then the half court shot is for the tiebreaker. All right. I'm going with the Utah team because it's the home team. That's my prediction for the winner.
Yeah, I'm definitely not going with Giannis' team.
Yeah. So the rookies
I'm going with Jazz.
Yeah, and I think the rookies will come second.
But you said the home team. I thought
it's in Salt Lake.
Oh, I thought it was in Arizona.
Nah, Super Bowl.
Oh, I'm tripping.
Yeah, Super Bowl. Shit, everything should be there. Now, all right, dunk contest. We got Jericho Sims from New York. I don't think you've ever seen Jericho Sims dunk. Mm-mm. Let me show you a little something so you're not going in blinded. We got Jericho Sims, Kenyon Martin Jr. You've seen him fly, right? Yeah. Trey Murphy III, from where is he from? From New Orleans. and Matt McClung, who got called up to the what's it called? He got called up to the league for the Sixers, right? And it go, that's a dunk that you'll see. That's Jericho Sims, just so you see his athleticism, all right? So you got Kmart Jr.,
I've seen this kid before.
Yeah, Kmart Jr., Mac McClung, Trey Murphy III, Jericho Sims. Your judges, oh damn, King. Here are your judges. Jay Crawford, right? Lisa Leslie, Harold Miner, Dominique Wilkins, Karl Malone.
How the hell Karl Malone getting that?
Hey, look, Karl Malone was actually hosting a party in Salt Lake City too. I ain't go. I saw the flyer. He was hosting a party. They had him on the flyer, man. Yeah, man. But you can't go to Utah and not, because you gonna call John out, like. But who you got winning? I'm going Kmart Jr. Oh, is Kevin Porter Jr. in it? Oh, Kmart Jr. I'm going Kmart Jr. Yeah.
Man, I don't even know. Don't even care.
Mac McClung says he got 2 dunks that people have never seen before.
He might have. He got a little something with it.
He did.
Like, come on, man. Like, I can't even get hyped for the dunk contest when the superstars ain't in it.
Yeah.
Like, we need Zion, we need LeBron,
I need Ja.
Yes, we need those guys.
I need Zach.
Man, yeah.
Donovan Mitchell.
Zach, don't give me wrong. I give him his credit because he's already been in it.
Him and Aaron Gordon.
You know what I'm saying? You guys did your thing. But damn, man, we need the superstars in it.
Yeah. Like even the All-Stars, like when Jay Richardson was in it, when B. Diddy was in it, T-Mac was in it early. Like that's a long list.
It had buzz around it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Even Richard Jefferson was a stud in the league and he was in it. Like different vibe. I'm going Kmart Jr. though. 3-point contest. This is the one I think is going to be fire.
Who's in there?
All right. So Anthony Simons was in it from the Trailblazers, but he injured his ankle. And so Julius Randle is replacing him.
Okay.
All right. So here we go. We got Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Hero, Buddy Hield, Kevin Huerter, Damian Lillard, Lauri Markkanen, Julius Randle, and Jason Tatum.
You take out Tatum and Randle, this gonna be lit.
Shh. This is as they say, these dudes got burners. Yeah. They got burners. And so I'm going with Dame Dollar because I'm a Dame guy. But Buddy Hield leads the league in made 3-pointers, and I think he's up by like 50. Like he got like 254 makes already. Yeah. And I may be low on that count.
He's putting them up though.
Yeah, and
I can't go with Dame in this because it ain't Dame time.
But he hasn't won one yet.
Yeah,
that's
Dame.
why I think it's gonna get him because he hasn't won one yet, and I know it's getting to him.
It ain't Dame time. He ain't winning it because it ain't enough pressure on. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with I'll probably go with Kevin Huerter.
Ooh.
The reason is because that's all he does.
Ooh. I heard Jay Crawford say the same thing.
That's all he does.
Yeah, I like Buddy. I like Tyler Hero too.
Hero, like he's more off the bounce though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
He's another one. He ain't spotting up.
Yeah. I'm going Dame still though. I'm going Dame. Dame, you add that to the resume. But like I said, I think this
Get out, Dame.
Yeah. I think this gonna be fire though.
Get out, Dame.
All right. All-Star game. NBA All-Star game. Who you got as your MVP? All right, and let me make sure I pull up the rosters.
Yeah, roll down the roster for me.
All right, and they still got to do the draft stuff, and they're gonna draft before the game, I think.
And
they're gonna draft directly before the game,
and the best players go last.
Yeah, so they're gonna do the reserve players first.
Yeah, which by the way I think is a little soft,
super soft,
because you make $20 million a year, you're the last person picked for the All-Star game,
and it's different this year. Rudy Gobert not playing, so
you crying for
Rudy Gobert not playing this time, so they ain't got to worry about hurting nobody feeling
right.
And so here we go. Right, we got Joe Mazzulla coaching in the South, the East.
Okay.
Mike Malone for the West. All right. And so starters, you got Giannis, Bron, Luka, Joel Embiid, Kyrie, Donovan Mitchell, Lauri Markkanen, John Morant, Nikola Jokic, Jason Tatum. Then you got KD, who's injured and not playing. Steph Curry, who's injured and not playing. Zion, who's injured and not playing. Then you got Bam, you got Jaylen Brown, you got DeMar DeRozan, Tyrese Halliburton, Drew Holiday, Julius Randle, and Siakam, who is an injury replacement. You got Sabonis, Damian Lillard, Jaren Jackson Jr., SGA, Paul George, and then De'Aaron Fox and Anthony Edwards, who are both injury replacements. What you going? And now SGA is averaging 36 and 5.
That's what I was about to say his name because he's going to try to make a splash.
Listen, he is so damn cold. Bron lost his scoring champ breaking whatever game because of SGA.
Yeah.
You remember, after the long break, you stopped to celebrate. You're like, all right, I'm still getting 35. Listen, I like it. So who you got for MVP, man?
I'm going to go either SGA or Ja. Yeah, because people have been going at Ja a little bit, and some of that stuff is is warranted, but I think he just has something to prove, and he wants to shut everybody up.
Oh, I gotta send you I gotta show you his new signature shoe and how they dropped it off. Yeah, they got this All-Star one. He got a signature shoe, fire. But I gotta show you the All-Star.
The first one he had this year was nice.
Yeah, the colorways. They dropped new colorways for him now, and so go ahead, check this out. While the OG looking at that, I am going to say I'm either going with Kyrie or SGA. I think when we talk about getting everybody together for the greatest pickup game ever, I don't think anybody outdoes Kyrie Irving on that court. But then, Bron is always a sleeper because Bron may be like, I want to be the oldest All-Star MVP winner ever.
He could.
So I'm looking at Bron, Kyrie, and SGA. And then you see, look at that. That's why you go with Nike over everybody else. That's Nike giving him the shoe like that with the chain and everything.
There's other shoe companies.
Yes.
And then there's Nike.
Yes, man. Right. And then I'm going Team Bron because Bron picked way better teams. He was torturing Giannis. Giannis said he got to finally beat it. But I'm going Team Bron. And my three options for MVP are, let me rephrase. It's Kyrie, SGA, and Paul George. I'm sorry.
Okay.
PG.
PG.
Yeah. So those are my three. And so, man, so that's it for us today, guys.
Hold on. Oh. Does Giannis have his brothers on the All-Star team?
Nah,
okay.
Man. Chill out. Hey, man, Giannis, you're doing a great thing. Nepotism at its finest.
Man, come on.
But listen, All-Star Edition basketball talk. We here, episode 13, I believe. Man, you know how we wrap it up. Make sure you guys check into the All-Star weekend too, though. That's gonna be fun. We definitely gonna wake up in the morning and check it out. But OG, how we drop it off? Post-game wrap-up.
I'll be short and sweet. You get out what you put in. And this goes for our guys at Hoop Mountain Dubai. We just had a lengthy practice the other day with our U16 boys. And some of our, more established players, more experienced players were a little late. And yet, they're supposed to be the guys leading the way. And yet they're, not consistent in their work all the time. But, they're extremely disappointed when we fall short, in a game or whatnot. And so, you can't get out, something that you want in a positive way if you don't put any work in. And, and just remember that, going forward, you want positive results. You got to put in that positive work every day. You still may not get what you want at the end, but you'll be able to sleep better at night knowing you gave everything you got. Yeah.
You just don't want it to be thinking that you're the reason why it didn't happen.
Right.
I gave all I could. So if it didn't happen, it wasn't supposed to.
Right.
Right. And so, I'm going with let's continue as we grow to value our time with our loved ones and our experiences more than anything else. I just had a talk with a friend, just turned 30, and last year was a rough year for him. Lost his grandparents, lost some people that was close to him. So I asked him what he was doing for his birthday, and he was like, "Man, for real, I just want to kick it with the bros, watch the All-Star game, get a nice dinner, because that's where it's at." And as we get older, you guys have heard Coach talk about it all the time. Check in with the people that you love. Even when you think that they're all good, but still check in and make it consistent. As we get older, you start to realize what is more important. And you can't buy back time. You can't get that back. And those experiences that you have with your loved ones, the experiences you have just enjoying something new, let's value those. So time and experiences, let's value those. Let's make a consistent effort to enjoy it. So
I like that.
So here, for that being said, Hoop Mountain Dubai, Hoop Mountain DXB, find us on Instagram, TikTok, online, everywhere. HoopMountain.ae. Check in with us, BTG Nation. We appreciate you. Let's keep going. Let's keep growing. And as you guys know, keep it real, keep it simple, and keep going.
Player and coach, the brother to brother. They both got views that you need to discover. From sports, current events to just life talk. Whether you on a fast break or a nice walk, gotta tune in. You already know, G. This BTG Nation and you one of the homies. Just tune in. You already know, G. BTG Nation, the other ones in the nosebleeds.